Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shiradi Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shiradi Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Śrīla Prabhupada ki Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Divim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. I'm just going to read translation of these two verses. Before reciting this Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and love and service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Today we're going to read from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, second canto. Listen. Canto number 2, chapter number 1, and verse number 12. Verse number 12. And chapter entitled The First Step in God Realization. Is it better, Suganta? The sound? Okay. Kim pramatasya bahubhi Kim pramatasya bahubhi Parokshair Hayanair iha Parokshair Hayanair iha Varamuhurtam viditam Varamuhurtam viditam Ghatate shriyase yata Ghatate shriyase yata Kim pramatasya bahubhi Parokshar hayanairiha Varam muhurtam vijitam Ghatate shriyase yata. Please chant. Kim pramatasya bahubhi Parokshar hayanairiha Varam muhurtam vijitam Ghatate shriyase yata. Kim pramatasya bahubhi Varamuhurtam viditam Ghatate shriyase yata. Kim pramatasya bahubhi Parokshar hayanairiha Varamuhurtam viditam Ghatate shriyase yata. Word for word meaning. Kim, what is? Pramatasya, of the bewildered. Bahubhi, by many. Parokshai, inexperienced. Hayanaihi, years. Iha, in this world. Varam, better. Muhurtam, a moment. Viditam, conscious. Ghatate, one can try for. Shriyase, in the matter of the supreme interest. Yataha, by that. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. Purport. Srila Shukadeva Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king, who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Shukadeva Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of the eat, drink, and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success, and the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statements in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Yamala Tantra, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from the Markandeya Purana, Sri Goswamiji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord, nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and being unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose that all extraordinary powerful beings are but parts and parcels of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna. Except for the Lord himself, everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, or any other powerful god can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize this transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means, without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree and other living entities, who may live for thousands of years without persecuting spiritual advancement. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much everyone for coming for the morning Bhagavatam class. First of all, I would like to ask for blessings from all the assembled devotees. May I speak something in line with Shastra and beneficial for everyone. So these are really amazing verses are going on right now in Bhagavatam. And chapter calls the first step in God realization. Actually, this is good reason to start reading Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I was advised, before I started, I was advised by my senior god sister, like, what is the reason why we should do it? Of course, there are many reasons, but one really caught my attention was that at the end of 9th canto, you will become completely God-realized soul. And it was really inspiring to do that, because, we all want to become God-realized soul. And this is first step in God realization. So we'll proceed towards 9th canto. And before we enter into 10th canto, let's see what's going to happen. So, Srila Prabhupada says here that it doesn't make so much sense to live long life if you don't have God consciousness, if you don't practice any spiritual practice. So even if you live for thousands of years, right, what's the point of it? It's just all wasted. And when you ask a devotee, for example, when somebody wishes a devotee, may you live a long life, devotee is not really happy about that. But if you say to a devotee that, may you attain Krishna, he'll be very happy. And he doesn't care when it's going to happen, whether tomorrow or after 100 of years. So, the importance of the holy name is really inconceivable to describe. And to chant holy name, we have to have faith. We have to have faith. In whatever you do, you have to have faith. And and usually how you get in this faith, right? When you notice that something is working for you, that you start having faith in anything. For example, in anything you do, you have to have faith. Even when we're walking, we have faith in your feet, that you're not going to fall, that this leg will catch, and you're walking like that. Or when we go into university, or when we go into work, you have a full faith that, when I finish, when I graduate, maybe I'll get a good job, or I'll get money, and you have faith in it. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. On book distribution, also, my Guru Maharaj says that we have to present books in the way so the people will know what is it in it for them, like why they have to take it. Because everyone is looking for something that fulfills the desires. It's all based on that. And that's where we put our faith. And we can put our faith in whether in material things or in spiritual things. And there are two types. So one, it calls Lokika. Lokika means that you put your faith in the material arrangements. So how it works is that many people think that, if I get good job, all my problems will be satisfied. Where is it coming from? That, okay, you have different needs. We all have different needs. We cannot deny that. We have to eat. We have to sleep. There is also a need for recognition. There is also some need for love. So it's just natural. We cannot deny that. And we have to convince ourselves, to have faith in something. You're really convinced that this something will bring you these things. When you work, right? When you put your faith in work, you know that, okay, I'll have $1,000 and then I'll buy whatever I want. Whatever I want to eat, I can rent an apartment. So you put all your faith in it. And, or for some people, like a family life, this is the goal of life. When I get married, okay, everything will be amazing, good, I'll have kids, and, they see goal in this. They don't see anything above that, and they just go into that. They put faith in the family life. And another faith, what we have, it calls nirguna, and it's when we put our faith in Krishna, when we put our faith in God, that He will protect you, that He is your father, and you are His child, and He will protect you in anything what's going on. These three types of worldly faith, there are three types according to modes of material nature. It's goodness, passion, and ignorance. So in ignorance, it's when basically a person just finds kind of a solution for all the problems in sleeping, in eating, in associating with women or men. Right? This is all the solace for this person. It's like complete ignorance. And he or she puts faith in it, that this will solve all the problems. Mode of passion is when we put faith in work, that if I work hard, American dream, right? You work and work and work and hard, and then you get whatever you need. House, family, money, and a garden with the trees. And mode of goodness, it seems like something better than other modes, but still it's guna, it's a mode of material nature. It's when we think that if I, just do yoga, if I live in a nice house somewhere, maybe outside the city, and I don't have quarrel with anybody, I'll be fine. But even this cannot bring the full success of your life. And this transcendental faith, what we have in Krishna, that's why it calls nirguna. Guna means three modes of material nature, and nirguna means it's above of the three modes of material nature. And so a person who has a faith in material arrangements really puts all the attention into work, family, and to satisfy himself or herself. But person in nirguna who has transcendental faith, he knows that if only I satisfy Krishna, everything will be fine. I will get, food to eat, place to stay, and person to marry, and kids, and all this like that. So you put it in a middle. You put Krishna in the middle. And also, it's very interesting. Whatever we have faith, it will manifest in our life. So we have to be careful with that. If you put in your faith in, again, in relationships, right? It's like the goal of your life. It will come to you, right? But then what? So the goal needs to be higher than that. And this faith in Krishna, why it calls faith? Because, something's going on with you. Krishna reciprocates with you. That's why it works. It's very interesting. Just yesterday someone asked me about that on book distribution. So, so whatever you have faith in, it will come to you. And why is it like that? Because Krishna, he is in everyone's heart, and he knows what your desires are and what you put in your faith in. Like faith is something very subtle but very strong. Sometimes you don't even pay attention that you put in faith in it. You just believe that it's going to work, and when it's not working, that's what we're actually trying to do. You know, we try to put in your mind, we try to put our faith in Krishna. But then when some kind of troubles come, right, this is a good test where we put in our faith. Maybe I need to just contact as many friends as possible to lend me money, or different things like that. And so we really have to establish this firm faith in Krishna consciousness, that only by chanting holy name, everything will be supplied, everything. Because everything belongs to God, everything belongs to Krishna. For him, it's like 1 second to do that. But you have to put your faith. It's our free will. Krishna is ready to give us everything, but it just depends on us how we do it. There is a very interesting verse in Bhagavad Gita. I'll read it. It's 9.3, if anybody knows. Anybody? Paranta probably memorize it. It's one of the verses where his name mentions. Ashradadhana purusha dharmasya sya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mritu samsara vartmani. Krishna says here that those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me or conquer of enemies, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So it's actually amazing now, because Krishna speaks here about his devotees. Karmis don't perform devotional service, so it must be about devotees. So we can perform devotional service and we can do so many things, but there can be no faith in what you do. And in this way, Krishna says that if a devotee is not faithful, it's not going to work. So he won't be able to attain me. And you see that many, even like devotees, right? They chant, but there is no enthusiasm to do something. There is so many things depend on our faith in Krishna consciousness. Actually, everything depends on our faith. How you progress in spiritual life depends on your faith. If you have full faith that Krishna will protect you, you can do amazing things. So many amazing things. But it's actually hard sometimes, especially when these difficulties come to us, right? This is real. We have to make this real choice, what to do, whether kind of, accept that Krishna will save me and put all his trust to him. There is a very nice story I heard about, there was a plane with people, right? Plane. And on the board there were many people, and there was this small girl. And at some point the plane started, it got into some kind of, how do you call it when it starts shaking? Turbulence. Yes, and people get scared, everybody started screaming and, freaking out. But this girl, she just didn't mind, she was just sitting very silently and very confident. And then everything, got back to normal. And people started asking her, why, you're so small, you didn't scare, because the plane almost crashed. And she said, I wasn't scared because my father is a pilot. So she had the full faith that she didn't care about it, father actually doesn't control things, right? Like if plane was supposed to crash, it would be crashed, right? But because she had this strong faith, she didn't really worry about anything. Because she knew that, okay, my father, he's not gonna let me down, and just this strong faith. She didn't care about outside things, right, about that. So we have to think about Krishna, that he is our father, and he won't let us down, never, ever, because he dedicated whole life to him. And in our spiritual life, we have to have this, okay, let me start from other side. If you ever walked in the forest dark forest. Well, you can just imagine that, right? You're walking in the forest, and it's very dark, and it's actually it's hard to find the way. You know, it's hard when you're in the dark, and especially if you lost your way in the forest, you'll become really frustrated because you don't know where to go. And the best thing to do in these moments is to find some kind of, something what you can take as a guide sign. And usually in the forest, right, in the night, it's a polar star. So the polar star never moves. It always stays in one place, and all the other, stars, they move around. Polar star. Well, I never had this experience myself. I don't think I'm really good in all these things. But in theory, I'll tell you, right, that if you take as your guide the polar star, you will most likely, if you know how to do it, right, you will get out of the forest, and everything will be fine. The same in the spiritual life. We have to have this polar star. There is so many things is happening, and so many things will happen. Right now we live in a temple, right? But there is so many years ahead, and you don't know what's really going to happen. You can be married, you can be single, you can stay brahmachari, or you can take sannyas, or or our body changes. We'll get older. We won't be that beautiful. Or we'll be, it will be very weak, and we might get different positions. Someone might become temple president or GBC, who knows, right? Like so many different things, and we cannot predict that. We cannot, but life is like that. It's changing all the time. That's why we have to have this polar star in our life, what you always go back to, which is Krishna consciousness, right? Which is this faith in Krishna. Put Krishna in the center, because when these different things come, our consciousness is shifted, many different things. But if you really put Krishna in the center, your service in the center, everything will be fine. It's like a polar star. You will find a way back home, back to Godhead. And my Guru Maharaj always says that you have to make decisions based on what's better on your devotional service. Whether you have to get married, whether you have to stay alone, whether you have to move. In fact, they live in California, and they bought a house. When they were buying a house, they were thinking, where we should buy a house? And they bought close to the airport. And then Guru Maharaj says, why it was close to the airport? Because he was doing books in the airports for the whole his life. Like he was distributing books in the airports. So it was very convenient. And so what's better for devotional service? We have to always think about that, put this in the center, and then everything will work out very nicely. And also with the faith, we see that it's very, when you just come to Krishna consciousness, you have a very strong faith. Many people, they become devotees, they completely cut off all the material attachment. They don't speak even to parents, they don't speak to, to friends or something like that. Because why? They have very strong faith that it's working. Yes, I want to do that. And it's very prominent. They can do amazing things also in the beginning. There's so much energy and so much enthusiasm. And at the end, it's also quite easy. When you, like Maharaj Parikshit we see here, right? Like 7 days. Or there was another story, I don't remember the name of this Maharaj, but there was like 2 minutes, Someone told him, you have to live only 2 minutes. Then what he did, he just dedicated everything to Krishna. He started, Maharaj Parikshit started here, Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And so at the end, it's also quite understandable, if you practice and this is what I have to do. I just have to listen to Krishna, and it's easier. But the worst part is in the middle, when you are not a newcomer anymore, but you still want to live for another 50 years and in Krishna consciousness. That's where we can face really problems with the faith. Usually, Sachinanda Maharaj, His Holiness Sachinanda Swami Maharaj said, usually, after 5 years, after 6 years, it happened to me also, right, after initiation. And it's quite there is no more excitement. You just have to do your job. You have to do your job for your spiritual master. And where to get this excitement from? And the best thing is to get it from association of devotees. Association of devotees, it cannot be substituted with anything else. And only in this way you'll be able to go through these dark times in your life. So it's very important to have very strong association of devotees in your life. And very interesting thing that also we have to help, because we teach by example, right? So we have to start from ourselves. We have to help devotees in the way that this faith will be increasing, not decreasing, because we can say so many things, right? And person will lose the faith completely. So we have to really think how to uplift the devotee, especially when you see that someone is going through difficulties or, not really good timings in his or her life. And it also can be very dangerous. Without association, we can be completely lost. Like if faith, if you heard that, for example, you have a friend, right? And if he or she, you trust this person, right? And he or she maybe does something which is not really trustworthy, I believe you say. It's very, very easy to completely lose the faith. Very easy, in 1 second, even though this person has done so many things. And similarly here in spiritual life, once you start thinking about, why I have to do even this japa, why I have to do that? What is brings me? Maybe a little bit of taste, yeah, but it's 2 hours of my life, why I have to do that? And this moment, there where you have to take shelter of association, because your mind will go crazy, First thought is like a seed, and you'll think and think and think about it, and then you'll completely stop. So without association of devotees, we can really, we won't be able to stay in Krishna consciousness. That's how devotees are important. And in this verse, in previous verse also, we're discussing these offenses to the holy name. And very first offense is to blaspheme devotees, which really interesting. I read yesterday in Chaitanya Charitamrita about that. And then I get this verse about that, so it must mean something. And a few days ago, His Holiness Chandrasekhara Swami Maharaj, he was explaining how it works in the life of devotee when he or she commits offenses. I thought it was really amazing and very simple and very structured. He said that when you commit an offense, how you commit an offense? When person did something, right, you can just forgive and forget. But if you start thinking about it, right, you start find faults in this person, and everything goes toward this. And this is how offense is created. When you constantly think that this person is maybe not good, then you start saying, because whatever you think, right, it will come out at some point. Then you start saying this about devotees, right? And this is complete offense. And what Krishna does, Krishna doesn't care that, how exalted devotee can be. It can be even sannyasi, right? He doesn't care that, but if his devotee is offended, what he does, he removes, usually why we are able to do our devotional service and why we are able to chant, why we are able to, stay saintly, right? Because Krishna protects us every second, every millisecond. We're covered by his protection. But when a devotee commits an offense, Krishna removes that. And then you get exposed to all the Maya, which is really dangerous. And how it works, that, you start thinking that, well, this is much better. It's much better I'll go to, Las Vegas to spend some time, then I'll go to Denver to the temple, right? So yeah, and the most amazing thing that you think it's right. You think it's, yes, I'm completely right, and I've done a little bit, so let me just take a break a little bit from devotional service. But it's all Krishna's energy. That's what Krishna does to us. And in this way, from his perspective, he removes you from association of devotees because he doesn't want you to, blaspheme them more. He just removes you from association of devotees in this very natural way that you think this is your decision. You think you do it yourself. But actually, it's Krishna does these different things. I think it's really amazing explanation. So this is how offense is dangerous. You basically kill your spiritual life yourself. It's when we envy someone or we're experiencing bad feelings, this person who you're experiencing these bad feelings to, he or she might doesn't even know, and he or she might be quite fine, but you didn't poison yourself. So you poison your own spiritual life when we feel these kind of feelings. Like that. And so, don't blaspheme devotees. It happened to me, I have a very nice example about when I was talking not very good about about one person, and at some point I lost my voice. I think I told you about that story already. It's just very prominent in my life, it happened 3 years ago. And I was distributing books and I need my voice, right, to talk to people, but because it was so continuous, I started making offenses and completely lost my voice, couldn't talk. And then, how I did find out about that association of devotees, devotees started telling me, probably, because I went through all the doctors and all these things, everything's fine, what can you do? And then devotees started telling me that, you might think maybe you tell something not really good about someone. And then I got right away, what was it about? Well, yeah, and how you to really get out of this offense, just apologize, in a humble mood. Very good practice, very good for our false ego. And so it's better, if you want to correct someone, it's nice to say in a nice way. We have to think how to say it in a nice way, because it's not like we have to tolerate if someone, does something wrong. It's not like we just, just say, oh, it's fine, yeah, no problem, it's fine. But we have to find a way, out of love, how to tell it to a devotee, out of love. Only in this way it will work. And the last point I want to mention is that the very word Shraddha, which means faith in Sanskrit, it's translated as, the meaning is, Shra means heart, and Da means to give. So Shraddha, it means where you put in your heart to. This is what faith means. This is where you put in your heart to. And the most amazing thing is we have only two options where to put our heart. Whether you give it to Krishna, or whether you give it to all your desires, to someone else. It's, I'll read you this very one verse. My Guru Maharaj loves this verse so much, and it's about when we put our faith in in our desires. Listen carefully. It says, it's from Chaitanya Charitamrita, quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I ever desired to give them up. O my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So, this is our choice, where we wanna put all our faith in Maya, and this will what will happen here in this verse. You know, we really do so much, but we never had any gratitude from your senses. You know, for example, because it's always increasing. It's like you want ice cream, and you go and get this ice cream, and then your senses telling you thank you. They tell you, now I want a strawberry ice cream. Then you get strawberry ice cream. And then you ask them, are you satisfied? And they're like, no. Because it's impossible to satisfy desires. It's impossible. It's unlimited. That's why we're here. So that's why we have to really put our shraddha, put our heart, give it to Krishna. And he'll take care of it very nicely. Nobody else will be like that. Okay, is there any corrections, comments, suggestions, plans? Who to ask forgiveness for? Huh?
Really amazing class.
All Gaudias too. As well as Sachinanda's one. A little bit louder.
I'm just saying, like, for myself, it's just a good reminder what should we do on a regular basis. All this faith which we need to put in the right place. And also we do with people every day. And like specifically myself, I can experience always like bad feelings to some people, you know, who just like broke my trust, for example, and they carry it in my heart, you know. And then like, and it's too heavy to carry actually, because it's not just someone's body, right? Like we all try to do the same, just to serve people.
Yes.
And then how to get rid of this, right? The question, how to deal with it. Like you can just, you know, ignore or, I don't know, carry it somehow to deal with it. So yeah, thank you so much. Very nice class and meditation.
Yeah, it is. I actually do it for my own purification, for my own purification. But it's nice when, you know, it's like the best way to learn something is to teach. That's why when you speak about something, when you don't keep it only in your mind, sometimes we know what's the right thing to do, but because we keep it in our mind, it's kind of no commitment. You're kind of, okay, maybe I can do it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll speak to this person tomorrow. Maybe, let's wait for a little bit. But then when you actually put it in the universe, put it in the air, put it in a, sound vibration, right? Everything starts working towards that, That's why you see, if you think about something and then you tell about this, like, someone who you trust, Krishna starts helping you, because he knows the desire in the heart. But also he knows that maybe it's hard. Sometimes, why it's so hard to apologize? It's hard, it's hard, like, to apologize. But, you might know that, okay, this is the right thing to do inside, but outside, maybe you're not strong enough, to do that. And Krishna will help you in this way, because he sees the intention. He will help you in many different ways, whether it will be scripture that you will read for a day, or a devotee who will come to you and just tell, this is the right thing to do. It starts working towards this direction. That's nice. And also, you see, it's like when you put your faith in Krishna, it's a very nice example of Prabhupada Maharaj. When he was a young boy and he had 1000% faith in Krishna, Like all his faith is in Krishna. And even though he never seen him. And then when his father asked him, where is your Lord? Here, in this pillar? Where? And he said, yeah, everywhere. And because of faith, only because of faith of Prabhupada Maharaj, Narasimhadev appeared. Because he had faith. He had to appear. Because he had strong faith. And this faith depends only on you. It's like, it's your life. But devotees can give you. The best thing to get faith is to associate with people who have very strong faith. It's very contagious. You will do the same thing. That's nice.
I really, really like this story. I've heard it before. We've heard the story before. The girl on the airplane.
Oh, and yes.
My father's a Catholic. It's so nice. Like, just thinking whenever we have like turbulence in our life, oh yeah, it's fine. Krishna's the pilot. Krishna's
Yes.
he's got it. And having that faith is just it can change your whole lifestyle. Honestly, like
Yeah. Yes. And in case of Krishna, he's a supreme father. So in case of the plane, right, it's not like pilot could control many things. It's a good example of faith of little girl. But again, if something was supposed to happen, it would be, it happened. But with Krishna, it's not like that. He can change everything in a second. He can, he's a God. Everything can be changed. Everything can be supplied. Everything. So it's nice to put faith in him. Yes.
And also, we're just like those passengers on the plane because, passengers on the plane have no control over
Yeah.
everything there. We also have that little control. We think we have more, but we're also in the same position. It's like, there's really not much we can do about the world.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing without the world.
I heard very interesting thing in Mahabharata many months ago, and it was really nice. When they all started panicking about that they had to marry, all Draupadi, they started freaking out, all the Pandavas and Kunti, and then Vyasadeva came, and he said, you all learned people here, you all devotees of the Lord, and he gave them very nice advice. He said, when world goes crazy around you, all you need to do is just come down. All you need to do is just come down, and then answer will come. Because when you like that, you can see the answer. Your mind involved in so many different things. You can't see anything. But when you just come down, you just okay. This is the answer. This is what you have to do. Grantara Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru Maharaj.